In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Tilda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Cassie Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the dungeon master on this adventure. Hello, everyone.
Hello, dear Dan.
Hey!
How are we all doing?
We're all
Better
good.
after that introduction. Really sort of
It's Monday.
Yeah, it's definitely Monday.
Right, so we left last session on a bit of a cliffhanger, didn't we? So I reckon we stop dilly-dallying and jump straight into it.
It was a bit of a double reveal there.
A little bit.
The cliffhanger
Yeah,
on top
but-
of the cliffhanger.
Only which is actually exciting for us. It's Magnus, obviously.
Obviously.
Who cares about Raid?
obviously.
The youngest of two grandchildren to King Foril, Raedra was unlikely to ever sit on the throne of Cormyr. However, during the War of Shadows, her grandfather and father died within months of one another, her brother Barovius abdicating after a mere 21 days in power. Thus began the reign of Queen Raedra Oberskir, the slayer of Thorglorum Morgurus, the Purple Dragon reborn. Despite her aggressive and direct nature, Raedra's post-war focus of rebuilding Cormyr created a decade of prosperous recovery, but drew accusations of national stagnation and uncertainty over future leadership due to her lack of child. As a war with their one-time elven allies reared its head, Raedra would find herself dethroned by her cousin, Ezered, supported by a band of heroes who had just helped to save the nation from the machinations of a mad sun elf. Those same heroes now stand before her, and Raedra does not seem to be pleased. The words hang heavy in the air. Oh, it's you. And you all feel the steely, piercing stare of the former Queen of Cormyr as she looks up across at you. Looks at you from across a table upon which rests a map of Cormyr with what appear to be military tokens denoting various forces arrayed across the country. You notice that the wooden tokens marking various Purple Dragon regiments and the like are colour-coded. Some varnished brown, a dark brown varnish, others marked with a red stripe across them. The silence in the room is thick, and between the stares of Raedra and your former guildmate, Magnus, who stands at the top of the stairs to your left, for some of you, it may feel difficult to know where exactly you should be looking. As the silence stretches on, what do you do?
I say nothing.
Okay.
I feel like Badger would say something really inappropriate. Like she'd go, "Oh my goodness, it's you. Oh, this is awkward, isn't it, Raedra?"
Nice one, Badger. Well done.
Thank you.
Raedra's eyes narrow slightly. She casts her eyes across the room. They settle. So they look at. You see her eyes almost like ever so slightly move from like each of you in turn. They don't linger very long on Balthazar. They linger on you, Badger, as you reveal to the collected persons that it's quite awkward in here. They fall on you next, Hiram.
Hiram is actually not looking at her. Hiram is trying to see if he can see both of Magnus's arms.
Okay, in which case Raedra's eyes fall past Hiram to Catcher, who's currently stood behind Hiram's silhouette.
Yeah, just trying to sort of stay behind here. Just like, neath.
They fall onto Rowan and carry on onto Zumbo, whom of which she does not appear to recognise. And yes, from the top of the stairs, you hear Magnus's response to you, Badger. Yes, this is somewhat unexpected. My lady, the defences are secure. It would seem that these soldiers have done a good job, he says, and your one-time guild member begins descending the spiral stairs. And as he approaches, his coat billowing out, Hiram, you let out a sigh as he gives you a wave with his right hand.
The left one?
With his right hand, you notice still adorned with the brass and gold gauntlet.
Oh no!
Oh my god! It's really great to see you take that thing off. Take it off right now.
You see Magnus kind of looking down at himself, and like he's looking at the pendant that he's got.
Oh no, the thing on your breast. Take it off, please. Did you not get
shield?
a message from? Oh, god damn it, the gauntlet.
What?
Did you not get a message from the gnomes?
Gnomes? What gnomes?
So turns out it is very likely to explode.
I think they said something about, total pulpage. Probably not the words they
take
use.
It off,
but...
please.
And he looks at you for a moment, and he's clearly trying to, like, he looks at you for a moment, Hiram, and then he kind of tilts his head slightly as if you're like, as if he's
I have
impressed.
no sense of I have no sense of humor.
And as you say that, like the flash of realization in his hand, and he licks his lips for a moment. What? And he holds his arm out. What do you mean, total pulpage?
Like, you're there, and then you're missed.
I mean,
maybe chunks.
They
weren't clear.
Yeah.
I've been wearing this for weeks.
I know. You did ask them to send you a message so you can take it off ASAP, but apparently they have not done that.
Behind Hiram, Catch is like...
Well, and you see him, and he's frantically looking at Raedra. You notice that the Agatha's Women of the Woods, realizing that they're in close proximity, start kind of backing off, just in case. And Magnus,
But you need a hand, and Hiram is gonna start walking up to him to help him take it off.
oh yeah, and he sort of like holds his arm out, like he's waving it frantically at kind of you, Hiram, and I don't know who you are, but help me, he says, like waving in front of your face, Zumbo. Like, get up.
Magnus, no sudden movements. They said sudden movements would be very, very bad.
Gosh.
Sudden movements. I've been gallivanting around the bloody forest. Get it off.
They said no sudden movements, but they said if you do hop on one foot, changing them one by one, then it does stop any of the danger from happening. So if you start hopping, just
basically doing a little
alternating
jig.
every 5 hops. Yes,
little jig.
exactly.
Yeah.
He looks at you, Slade. And, Catcher, this is not the time. Someone.
Right, can I take it off of his hand?
Sure.
Make an Arcana check.
I need you to make
Oh no.
We can't
Wait,
blow
no,
up
can
Magnus
someone-
the
wait,
moment
wait,
he
can
comes
someone else do
back.
it?
Arcana check.
You can't.
Never mind Magnus, I'm stood right next to him.
Yeah, actually,
Somebody has
can
a
I-
Magnus on you.
If I roll low, I'm not going to like him. It's probably going to remember the last accident he had. I tried to help someone, go like, can someone else do it?
Tell you what, Badger will do it because she's a
Okay.
gnome and it's meant for gnomes.
Okay, so as you start backing away here, Magnus just like, no, where are you going? Where are you going? No.
Give me a second.
This is a you problem. This is.
It seems like a you problem since it's on your wrist.
Who would like to attempt to take this thing
Badger's
off?
gonna do it because she's a gnome and she's pretty confident it won't kill her.
Balthazar will assist actually,
Yay!
because he's probably intrigued by the device.
Yes, Balthazar, you seem to know about magic things. Come and help me.
Okie dokie. So if
I will just to help with the thing. Catcher will say,
Hey.
"You can do it.
no,
I
it's
believe in you."
for music! Roars Magnus.
Can we? Is it
so,
4? Do we add 4?
I will give the bardic inspiration to
Okay.
Badger, because I imagine Balthazar's
Okay.
Arcana is higher.
All right,
so-
so let's see. The bardic inspiration I'm adding to this is 8.
Ooh,
If-
8.
Okay, so Balthazar, you need
Oh,
to
it's fine.
roll.
It's fine.
Okay,
I
well,
didn't
yeah.
I didn't actually need it. But
Well, if Balthazar's helping, okay, fine.
I didn't use it. I've decided since I've seen the
I
roll
got
now.
a
17 is pretty
16.
early. Yeah.
Okay,
We're
that's
pretty
fine.
solid.
So as you look at it, Badger, and what did you get? So that's a 25. Okay. At first glance, you can't see any kind of seams or joints. It just seems like a tube that's like from elbow to like the gap between the middle and ring finger, like all the way up. And like as you approach and start looking at it, like the gauntlet is slowly ticking and whizzing. And like
Dan, just to clarify, I didn't use the bardic, so it is just a 17.
Aha. In which case,
Unless I did. No, I've already
Please
declared I
do.
didn't. I've already declared I didn't. Wait, what do you think? Are you? Well, I don't want to metagame it.
do you want to use it?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Next, if you don't use it, and then suddenly you're like Magnus, you'll wish you had used it.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Just holding me up.
as you're looking at it, like that rock gnomes are kind of more proficient in kind of tinkering and technology, but this just seems kind of on another level, and you just can't see how this thing got onto his wrist, got onto Magnus's forearm in the first place. As Magnus turns around and shouts at Katya, and it pauses for a moment because now there's 2 young red-headed girls in the group. What's going on? Like as he stop it, you notice that you see like a almost imperceptible seam across kind of the collar of the gauntlet, if you will. And as you kind of start twisting and twiddling on something, Magnus looks at you, and you notice the gear on the back, like the whizzer, start to accelerate. And then a red light comes on, and Magnus just stops, and like you see the emotion leave his face, and then he looks at this gauntlet and says, "This is it. This is how I die." And like he scrunches his face up, but then as you press a button, the thing just kind of unlinks, and then just falls apart from his forearm in 2 pieces. And opens one eye, looks down, and
Oh,
huh.
we got it off.
I had every expectation that you would solve that, Badger. You are a suitable replacement for myself. Yes, thank you very much.
I learned about magic from the best.
Absolutely, me. So,
Yes.
why are you here? He says, and you hear a voice echo him. Yes, why are you here? Says Raedra.
Rowan jumps in, just says, "You know, Magnus, you look so well. I'm just loving the hairdo and you know, the rebel life has really worked well for you. You look fantastic. It's good that you didn't explode just as soon as you got into your new hair, new you phase."
So those of you who know Magnus, you can see, like, he's looking at this person talking to him, and he's nodding. But you've seen that face where Magnus is pretending that he knows who the person is. And like you could, the more perceptive use. So Balthazar, you recognize this, but you know Badger, Katya, you can see every so often just his eyes kind of flicking from Rowan to Katya to Rowan to Katya, and like you see his eyes kind of fall on Katya's loot, and but then he kind of looks at Rowan, who. Like, Katya's had a bit of a glow up in terms of a costume, and Rowan looks a bit more street urchin. So yeah, he's just a bit, and he, thank you. You. And yeah, he kind of looks around, and he looks at you, Zumbo. He looks at Balthazar. So. And he, like, sorry, he looks at the two of you, and then sort of like he steps in to you, like steps into your space here, Anne. I don't mean to pry, but and he tilts his head towards Sambo. He doesn't seem like a very suitable replacement, you know. Seems like a ne'er-do-well.
You would have had a say if you stay with us.
Ooh, shots have been fired.
And the I see. Well, very good, he says, and yeah, he sort of like stands to attention, kind of steps away from you, and you still haven't answered Lady Oberskier. Why are you in the King's Forest?
Just finishing a quest. Agatha, the card is now delivered.
And like the old woman looks up to you, and there's a look of kind of surprise, almost, you know, there's a look of her being impressed as she. Oh, thank you. I was kind of expected you'd hightail it after you found out what was happening.
I mean, did we know what was happening? I feel like for a couple of days now we had no idea what was going on at any given moment, but that might be just me.
Yes, yeah. This it's good that you've seen some of the extent of what's going on here, and she, you know, this old woman looks to Raedra, but as I understand it, my lady, things are a tad worse than we'd anticipated. And you notice that Raedra's not taking her eyes off you. She's just slowly been, her eyes have just been moving to each of you in turn. And she clears her throat. Yes, it would seem that there's significantly more going on in the King's Forest than we had anticipated, she says. She lifts her chin up, She kind of you remember that kind of regal, haughty stance that she took in the throne room, about 10 days ago, and she, slightly looking down her nose at you all as she stands to full height. But you notice that after a few split moments, she almost seems to catch herself. Like her head comes down, and instead she fixes you with a stern, determined look instead. I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to speak about it when we're within such company. She turns to Magnus and says, I'm not even sure if it's wise for these heroes to know that we're here.
It's too late for that now, isn't it? Seeing how we just helped your cause by accident.
Also, you didn't do a brilliant job of, hiding, so...
I assume that given that it sounds like you've brought supplies, you've been somewhat sympathetic to Agatha and her men and women. So perhaps there is some shred of hope for you. Perhaps there is some common ground that we can see eye to eye on.
Depends.
Under her breath, Catches mumbles, well, we couldn't agree on your leadership style.
If Rowan can hear that, Rowan starts bursting out laughing.
Raja waits for the laughter to subside, and then she says, I'm not going to lie. The last few 10 days have been trying. With hindsight and some words of advice, and you see her eyes kind of glance to Magnus for a moment, who has now kind of adopted this very kind of formal hands clasped with his waist stance, as if he's kind of standing toward her. Raja continues, thanks to some advice, I've realized that perhaps the final days of my rulership of Cormyr were perhaps not my finest. And she tilts her head to you. In fact, ever since the throne went to dearest Ezered, I've found the lack of throne and duty almost pleasant. The greater autonomy is pleasing. It's good to know that I can do things without 101 nobles breathing down my back. So I suppose, in a way, I have you to thank for that.
You're welcome.
Yet I can't help but notice you're still leading a rebellion against your brother?
A rebellion?
Uncle, sorry.
Cousin, yeah.
Cousin.
A rebellion? Is that what they're calling it now? I'm flattered. I thought I knew my cousin. Evidently, I was wrong. I always knew that he craved the throne. Being a bastard child, it would normally mean that he would never get a look in, but due to some of my certain life choices, when he realized that the throne was within reach, it would seem that spurred him on to action. He always had his supporters He always had his detractors, and we had always assumed that the threat of execution for treason would have kept him in check, but perhaps I miscalculated. Perhaps I misjudged. It would seem that Ezered Oberskier is much more bloodthirsty than anticipated. It seems unlike him. But it seems unlike him to do the things that he's doing, to give the commands that he's giving, but if he is such a master of deception as he is proven to be, then perhaps more fool me for not noticing in the first place. So, if he thinks of us as a rebellion, then at least he considers us with a threat grave enough to use such a strong word. Magnus, we're no longer a nuisance. We're no longer bandits. So what would the Warhounds do? What would you do to protect your country? Would you leave it to a mad king, or would you see it through to safety?
Well,
Safety. Did you forget the whole reason why we had to vote who gets the country? Did you forget the whole thing that brought us to this moment?
The agents of Semberholm tried to infiltrate and bring my nation to rubble and ruin. Yes, I remember. Very.
Yeah, do you remember the war that was promised if you stay on the throne?
Are we any better now?
Also, I
I
kind of
hope you would be. I hoped that you would be enough of a leader to not throw your country into goddamn civil war. You talk about peace and looking after your country, but what are you doing here? If you were biding your time, I would understand that. Because, yeah, to be very honest, your cousin is no better. But the fact that you are this, that you want this throne this badly, that you would let your soldiers die.
I think you misunderstand me, Master Silversword. I don't want the throne. They wouldn't let me have it anyway.
What do you want then? What is this?
Raedra holds your stare for a while, and then she tilts her head to look at Magnus. And as you all turn to regard Magnus, you see that his eyes are kind of looking at the floor, as if he's clearly trying to avoid a question. But eventually he slowly kind of looks up. He glances to you, Hiram. And it's the same look in his eyes as when he convinced you to join the Warhounds. And you hear his voice echo in your head. I've got your back, Magnus said. And Magnus looks to Raedra and gives her a single and slow nod. Raedra, Agatha, Women of the Woods, like everyone who seems to know something, kind of tenses up and takes a deep breath. And Raedra gently places a finger on the map of Cormyr, specifically the middle of the King's Forest. We had a number of spies within the Loyalists' camp. It would seem that those loyal to Ezered have unearthed some sort of information on what appears to be an artifact of some considerable power. They seem to be interested in it, because it is said that this artifact forces utter loyalty to whoever wears the crown, whoever wields the artifact. And I don't know about you, but I don't like the idea of my cousin dearest having ownership of such an item. Simply, I don't want it to fall into the wrong hands.
So, I'm begging your pardon, Your Majesty. I know you don't know me, but if you were to recover this artifact before your cousin were to get there, you'd be happy enough to call this whole thing off and leave him on the throne, and everyone goes home?
Raedra looks at you for a moment as she kind of... It seems like she's studying you as she looks you up and down. It's the look of a gladiator sizing up their opponent in the ring. She thinks for a moment and then repeats, as I say, I just don't want this falling into the wrong hands.
Begging your pardon.
Sorry, go on, sir.
Begging your pardon, your generalship? I mean, that sounds like the right thing. Generalship. Yes, generalship. Who would the right hands be in your opinion then? I mean, if it's not Ezerad, there would be anyone else.
She smiles and says, "You're absolutely right. They would not be Ezered's hands. They would not be the hands of a king that has ordered the hunting and execution of Cormyrian citizens and soldiers."
If you do need someone who could be the next head of state once you've planned your retrieval, I know someone who would be absolutely fantastic for the job. So just putting it in there. I know of someone who would be just and fair, beautiful and wise, and and not too proud to really get the job done correctly.
Actually puts a hand on Rowan's shoulder and is like, both me and Badger are flattered, but no, I don't think either of us want power.
And
I'm sorry, but hashtag Emmeline for Queen.
Just putting it out there, I think you'd make a fantastic general. Obviously, your skills are in this kind of strategic leadership. Someone who could be, a person of the people, of every person, really. That's what we're looking for, I think.
Rowan, I think we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. Maybe.
I think what my crewmate's trying to say here is that why, if you do you know where this artifact is? How come you haven't recovered it already?
The exact location of the artifact is yet to be discovered. However, the last information, the last that we heard from our spies, the Loyalists had information on it in the Stagsteads, which I believe has now been requisitioned by Ezered's forces as a central base here within the King's Forest.
Oh.
So, quite simply, I wish to deprive my cousin of this information.
It makes a lot of sense why you're not going after it yourself. I imagine you'd have trouble slipping in there, wouldn't you?
For the sake of the country, I wasn't planning on being subtle.
What?
The Cormyrian soldiers that defend that outpost, that defend the Stagsteads, when they took their oaths to the crown, they knew that there was a possibility that they would die for it. And I full well expect that they will sell their lives dearly to protect the information that they've found. I would expect nothing left of them when I were queen.
Wait, Raedra, it kind of sounds like what you're saying is that you're going to go in there and just sort of, you'd be willing to go in there and just sort of kill everyone in your path. Is that the basic gist of what you're saying?
That's exactly what she's saying. That's what all nobles do.
Well, the good news is you are looking at the foremost stealth crew. We've got 2 stealth missions under our belts already. The results are pending. The sample is too small right now. But yes,
we're down to 50% fighting.
50% fighting, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going very well.
It's been 6 days since our last accident.
we are the right people for the job. We are the right hands. We will sneak in. We're very good at talking to people in a very calm fashion, and we will find your artifact.
And if I may interject there, to sway you a bit further, I mean, you've seen what's already happened. You've turned from a small band of bandits to, the rebel alliance, basically. We could take that away from you. The spin here is that you are the big bad. But if we can go in there, if anything went wrong, or even if it went right, you would be seen as the ultimate betrayer, and it would just turn more against you and more against the cause. However, we're kind of the middle ground.
Out of character, guys. Where have you let Helenus?
Oh, that's a good point.
I think she's just waiting outside the door, isn't
She's
she?
outside, yeah.
Her and Axakas are outside invisible because they've been bettied.
Yeah.
I think at this point Hiram would go like, hold on, we actually have 2 people who would be even better at getting in, I think.
Catcher leans down and whispers to Rowan as like, you make some good logic. They're no longer bandits, which means we've satisfied the contract with the pit fiend.
And now they are worse.
No, they're an army. But still, that means we're getting paid.
So Hiram, you're saying, so you're mentioning that you've got 2 others in
I
tow,
think
yeah?
quietly, it was Zombo who cast the spell, right?
Yes.
I think I say to him, Zombo, do you think we could get the girls in here? Make them visible again?
Yeah, sure. I've forgotten all about him, Hiram. And he's going to give a little whistle, like someone whistling a dog, and I guess they'd stagger in, basically propelled by Betty, who's on their heads, pushing them forward.
Okay, cool. So let's just make a little bit of room in here.
Dan?
Yes.
Before that, I'm just thinking that Balthazar, seeing Magnus, a former ex-war wizard, would have probably triggered, as he was working on removing the gauntlet, would have probably triggered a flashback on his behalf.
Okay.
Because this is the first time we've seen a war wizard, or a kind of war wizard, since, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just wondering what might go through his head.
Sure. So, as there's a bit of a commotion, getting an invisible Helenus and Axakas to come into the tower. Balthazar, it's the pose of this Magnus, stood, legs a few feet apart, hands clasped at his belt buckle, shoulders rigid, and you're taken back to, and there's lots of people between you and this figure, and as you kind of fall into, you kind of get this memory where you've been somewhere in a situation like this before, except the people between you and the wizard, they were a lot taller back then. You weren't towering over them like you are now. And you remember, hearing this group of people kind of talking and arguing and shouting, and the stoic figure at the other end of the room says, "I'm telling you, Project Implacable will be the end of all wars for Cormyr. This is the greatest deterrent the Cormyr has in its arsenal against would-be invaders. There will never be another war like the War of Shadows, or the Goblin Wars, or any of the uprisings before. This will save lives." And you hear other voices in the room arguing against it. And what happens when the enemy get their own Implacable? What happens then? What will happen to the walls of Suzail? And this plan is madness! Utter madness! This whole thing should be shut down! You hear, and there's kind of arguing and cheering and jeering. And you just feebly hear someone shouting and trying to restore order. And yeah, you find yourself back in the room.
Yeah. I think Balthazar sort of snaps back to consciousness as they enter.
Okay. Balthazar, you're actually snapped into focus by a voice next to you, like to your left, that says, "Oh no," just under her breath. And as the octopus is kind of pulled off her, and Helenus and Axelkas reappear among you, Balthazar, you find yourself acutely aware that you're stood in the middle of a line of awkwardness. As you look to Helenus to one side of you, and then look to her mother, Agatha, on the other side.
Isn't sure whether to shift away or in between. It's like kind of like.
The thing is, there's some crates behind you, so you can't. Oh, there's crate, and there's Katya in front of you. You could side shimmy one way, but it doesn't really help because you just
awkwardly shuffling.
End up leaning.
Katya and move with her.
End up leaning backwards, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, Badger, you also notice that mother and daughter are looking at each other from across the tower. Helenus looks determined. Agatha looks shocked. And Agatha looks across to you, gathered Warhounds, and says, Is this a joke?"
Nope.
And like Helenus just kind of tilts her head. "A joke? I'm glad I mean so much to you, mother." And
Nope.
Agatha just.
Katya, would you do that song about semantics again?
Agatha,
this time or place.
These are the mercenaries that you asked us to go and get. There's no joke.
And like Agatha closes her eyes, and you see her nostrils flare as she takes in a deep breath. And like Balthazar, you're taken slightly aback because this old woman shoulders you out of the way so hard it kind of sways you back. And Agatha storms up to Helenus. "Of all the places you could be, girl, and you came here?" And Helenus maintains a look. You brought her here?" she says, looking to you lot.
Yeah, it was that or leaving her to the Purple Dragons.
Did stop
Oh my
us from having
God.
a one-way trip to meet with an Alphons, so yay.
At this point, yeah, Rowan goes, "Oh my gods! Thank goodness you brought my daughter back to me and saved her from the Alphons. Oh, what a nice thing. Oh, maybe a little reward money for you, because even after this, you've brought me back my joy. Thank you so much, Warhounds. You really, truly are the heroes."
Badger just starts sort of patting her reassuringly on the shoulder, saying, "Okay, Rowan, she gets it. She gets it.
And
Fine."
Rowan, you watch as the two fish women just turn to look at you, and they're both staring daggers.
Sorry to ask, but family drama aside, Isis artifact in Stackstead, and am I saying that right?
Stackstead, yeah.
And could we possibly get stealthily in? Thoughts?
I think her ladyship was in the middle of telling us what a gigantic reward would await the heroes that would bring her this artifact.
Rager.
Also, plan B is murder, which we want to avoid.
If possible.
Rager takes a deep breath at the thought of, oh, you'll do this for money, okay.
Sorry, Your Majesty, it don't have to be money. I'm quite partial to the title of Admiral, if that'll suit.
Admiral of the Rebellion.
She nods. I'll make sure to give you a knighthood and a plot of land as well. Yes.
And also, general leader would be great for a dear friend of mine. Thank you.
So just to quickly backtrack, when Agatha and Helenus stare daggers at you, Rowan, Agatha turns her head back to her daughter, and through clenched teeth she says, "What do they mean, Alphon?" And Helenus takes a sigh, and Agatha almost kind of grabs her daughter's arm and says, "We need to have a talk." And starts to body her daughter out of the room. Axicas makes to stop her, and Agatha just turns and looks. "You can stay here," she says. She leads her daughter out into the courtyard, and you just those of you that can just see the purple dragons as they watch General Agatha marching this younger version of Agatha out into a nearby tent.
As they're walking along, Rowan again continues with, "I was so glad to see you. It's been such a long while. I'm so glad you're safe. Oh yes, me too. So glad to see you. Oh, thank goodness. I've missed you so. See, everything's fine. We're all fine. It's all fine."
But Badger...
Oh,
sorry. I was just going to say that as Agatha was marching Helenus out, Badger will have gone to stand next to Axicas, kind of almost as a kind of reassuring, standing in solidarity type thing to make sure she's okay.
Axicas is you can see that she's putting all of her weight onto one hoof, and her other leg is kind of lifted slightly as she leans against the doorway of this tower, and you just hear her under her breath mutter, "She seems nice."
It's okay.
On second thought, Stackstead might have been better.
So sorry, just to jump back ahead. Rager says, yes, I'll make sure to give you a knighthood and a plot of land.
Thanks. That's fab.
And how's your perception? 15. Yeah, she you notice her almost visibly roll her eyes at you. So she looks to you, and I suppose the question at this point is simple. It would seem that you dethroned the last monarch in order to save the country. And now I'm asking you if you're willing to do it again.
And then I think I have to ask the question, your former highness. And once we overthrow Ezerad, who are you putting on the throne then? As you said, you don't want it, so are you just laying Sazale fall to chaos? Are you letting Cormyr collapse?
Lady Ameline. Lady Ameline.
Who is your replacement to your dear cousin?
She kind of thinks about it for a moment. And then she says, House Oberskier has ruled since the founding of Cormyr. Between Ezred and I, we are the last of our respective lines, and neither of us have borne children. Perhaps with the downfall of my cousin, the rule of House Oberskier comes to an end.
Wow.
Doesn't fix things. House Oberskier can dissolve for all I care, but every single noble is going to want a piece of the throne. You're just going to throw the whole country into another war. And who's going to bear the brunt of that? Everyone that I've been trying to help. All the people in the poorer districts will be there as your soldiers and will die for some stupid cause.
And what would the alternative be, little lady?
Have a plan. Figure out who goes on next. Even give the power back to the people. Something. Have an idea. This is why I got you out.
While my black-hearted cousin lusts for an artifact that commands total loyalty from his subjects, there will be no peace. Not from him. Not from me.
But think about what happens when you get your peace. Because if you don't, then there will literally be no peace. It'll go on and on and on.
I remember you fantasizing about a council, a democracy of sorts. That will never happen when the House of Oberskier has blood running into the throne of Cormyr.
Listen.
Yes,
We can. Sorry, Patrick.
No, you go ahead, Zumbo.
Perhaps this is a problem for the future, eh, Kat? Yeah, I mean, one day at a time, you know.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Zumbo. It seems as if the priority right now is to make sure Ezeret does not get his filthy mitts on this loyalty stone or whatever it is we're looking for. And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I ain't never been loyal for a single day, and I don't intend to start now. Forced or otherwise.
Magnus
sounds uncomfortable.
Magnus ruffles his moustache as you say that. As he looks at you.
Out loud, Rowan goes, "You're the best addition to the team we could ever have, Zumbo." seeing Magnus's ruffle.
You're so much better than that other guy.
Just to see what Magnus does in return. Hoping it's a bright red rage.
Raedra brings us all back on topic by saying, I will not stop until I have deprived Ezered's men of the information that will lead them to this artifact. If you wish the method of stealth and subtlety is something that I am not blessed with currently. If you are willing to attempt to retrieve this information in my place, well, I'm tempted to believe in you, given that I know of your capabilities. But I will stress that if it seems that you are due to fail in your mission, then we will resort to the methods that I know best. Do we have a deal?
Not quite. Can we? This is just me, and I'm looking at my teammates. Like, if we do this, then I think it. I'm not sure if I understand it right, but and we get the artifact, and we get to decide where it goes.
As I understand it, the artifact itself is not in the Stag's Head. It's merely the first step.
No, I got that. But if we get the information, then we can go and get the artifact, and then we can hide it, or even potentially destroy it. Because in all honesty, I do not trust either of them with something like this.
So we play it by ear, see what the artifact does.
I was thinking more than less of maybe it's time to reach out to the Harpers, but sure.
I don't think the Harpers will answer our calls.
Maybe not yours, but we have two people who they have not been in contact with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as Katya says that, Magnus kind of looks at you across the room, Iram, and slowly shakes his head. But then when you say two people that haven't met them, he looks to Zumbo, he looks to Balthazar, and like he gives you a really look.
Can I give a look back to you and like it's better than your idea?
I love how effectively you're just having a conversation through eye movements and eyebrows.
I love it.
The mustache bristles in a way that's like A, B, D, D.
It's all mustaches and eyebrows with those.
Raedra, like, you notice that Raedra kind of tenses up at the idea that like you lot will have it. You lot would have this artifact. When you say, you know, we can hide it away, yeah, you can quite clearly see she's a bit uncomfortable with that idea, but she then kind of closes her eyes, and that is one solution. Yes.
Okay, so we both have homework. So we're going to go and find the information for this artifact, and you're going to work on getting a proper plan together that goes beyond just finding this artifact and, you know, trying to take down your cousin. You know, maybe things to think about. Getting a group of people together. One who could do, you know, the diplomacy, since that's not really where your skills are. I mean, you've definitely got the strategic thing going on, but obviously you need someone to be diplomatic.
She frowns and points at Magnus, but that's what I have him for.
Oh, good, great.
Good
job.
one, Raedra. Good one.
Magnus is one of the greatest diplomats I know.
Really?
Is he there?
I mean, you did hear about
with words.
He's the greatest wizard.
I did see the song where he touched an exploding wall, right?
He's a great friend, a good leader of
all of those things. Yeah,
the group.
Diplomat.
Yeah, also,
He has
Also,
a
I do
great
remember-
moustache.
He called Rowan Katya about 5 times earlier.
You're
also he is not a group of people. He's one person.
your ex-party member looks at you, and this torrent of backhanded public executions. Just
It's what made done with love.
Did you miss us, Magnus?
Oh my god.
Never have
he-
left us.
So, yeah, Raedra acknowledges that, yes, perhaps she has some homework to do. But, yeah, she's also keen to find out if you yourselves are... Basically, yeah, the deal is, if you lot are doing this, fine. But she's going to come in... She's going to come bursting through those walls like an Umber Hulk.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! If it all goes wrong, yeah, she's gonna eat that hunting lodge.
Wow. I believe her as well.
How long have we got before you come in all hot and heavy, Your Majesty?
She thinks about it and she looks to the women of the woods that are flanking her, and like there seems to have been some sort of silent communication between them, because the rangers just kind of nod, and Raedra turns back to you and says, "I'll know if things have gone wrong."
And how what's the state of the navy at the moment? Are most of the blue dragons with you or with the king? It might be useful in bluffing our way in, you see. To know that sort of stuff.
And she turns to Magnus, and you see like the shrug that Magnus gives is almost one of like indifference. It's a shrug that says, like, why would I know about the blue dragons? In an almost dismissive, like, they're like they're the bottom of the military food pile compared to a war wizard. The blue dragons are just below Magnus.
I don't know how Magnus's body language is so communicative.
Yeah.
His mustache can write sonnets. His shrug can tell you a story.
Yeah, exactly. It's a skill that he learned over the space of dethroning Raedra. Or not dethroning Raedra, I should say. Magnus basically shakes his head and then says, he pipes up saying, we've not been close enough to Suzail or Marsemba or any of the port cities to know what the military might of the Blue Dragons is currently. Thankfully, they haven't figured out how to make their galleons fly, so we've not really had to contend with their forces either this far inland. But he thinks about it. I assume they are as loyal to the crown as the Purple Dragons, or the War Wizards, he says. And you see him kind of glance outside to the Purple Dragons gathered outside that are clearly trying to listen in, but not letting it look like they're trying to listen in.
Tell me, do you know of who might be in the location? Maybe, sort of what they look like, what they're like, who they're...
So Raedra looks back to her map. You can see, as I say, a couple of like tokens scattered across this map, denoting forces. You've all seen, Hiram, you've certainly seen enough maps like this to know that these tokens would be like last known locations of groups of like loyalists and whatnot. Raedra says, I understand that the Stagsteads has become some sort of garrison for the loyalists, so there will be a number of Purple Dragons stationed there. I suspect there will be within their numbers there will be a number of Lionars, perhaps there will be a number of Teleswords. I suspect they will be led by some sort of Lionar. And as she says that, the face of Caven Tor flashes in all of your memories as the Lion are.
We know they at least have a elephants there as well.
Raedra kind of raises her eyebrows and, well, you have fun with that. She tilts her head and I wasn't expecting the Alaphon. I suspected that there would have been a War Wizard advisor at the very least, but an Alaphon makes this somewhat more complicated. All I would suggest is that if you come into close proximity with the Alaphon, just don't think of me.
Shouldn't be too difficult.
Do you have any non-damaged purple dragon uniforms by any chance?
Raedra looks around. Some of them might be battle worn, she says, looking out the door, looking past you out the door at the purple dragons gathered. Surely your faces are somewhat recognizable, though, she says.
I wouldn't think that's too much of a problem.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's mainly eyeing up Balthazar as she says that. And Zumbo, I guess, to a certain degree. But yeah, she looks at you. She doesn't really know what you mean by that. Because as far as she's concerned, she's only known you for about 10 minutes. And well, I'm sure we could find some garments, yes?
Great. Well, let's take those with us. Doesn't matter what they fit like. It's just anything you've got.
She nods. So, to clarify, we are in agreement. You're attempting to infiltrate the Stagsteads, the garrison of Ezered's loyalist forces within the King's Forest, in an attempt to retrieve information pertaining to this artifact. Upon receipt of this information, you either hand it over to us so we can deal with the problem, or you take steps to deal with it yourself.
Sounds like a
Yes.
plan.
Yep.
We'll get it done.
And as I understand it, you have a 50% success rate with your stealth missions.
That 100% success rate, just 50% of them involve fighting.
I see.
Yes, they're all successful.
Yeah, all successful.
Well,
Yeah.
in that 50% of fighting, then I will provide reinforcements.
Thank you. Oh, I can let you know when we need you if you want. Just look to the sky. We should come up with a symbol.
Yeah.
A hound.
A little flower.
Oh.
Okay.
Only we had someone who could cast message.
This is
I mean-
where everyone's slowly looking to Magnus.
Yep.
Magnus seems to have slightly tuned out the conversation at this point. Like, his attention span is waning. And he looks up and gives you a but yes, Magnus could cast sending if need be, because as far as you lot are concerned, you don't know how much he's glammed up. So okay, we are in agreement then, says Raedra.
Yep.
In which case, she looks at you one final time. She smiles. Good luck, Warhounds Limited, she says. And she gestures her hands to the door, and the women of the woods escort you out. And as you start to, as you start to kind of, as your mind starts racing about how or what's about to happen, we'll grab a 10-minute break.
Great.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
In a bit.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you.
Good to be back.
Hello.
Hello. Right, so we find ourselves in a position where, after a somewhat awkward conversation with the former Queen of Cormyr, you've discovered that the new king, Ezered, might be up to some devilish tricks, some fiendish plans.
Tomfoolery.
Some tomfoolery, yes. And you have agreed to help, well, you've agreed to infiltrate, one way or the other, the Stagsteads, which is the local garrison for the loyalist troops within the forest, within the King's Forest, in an attempt to retrieve the information that the loyalists have on this artifact's location, in the hopes that will set them back and basically just keep it out of their hands. So yeah, as you kind of exit the meeting with Rager, as you exit the tower, you notice that it is now considerably dark. You've traveled kind of 33 miles since you left Deadluke. You are given the opportunity to stay the night in the camp and then head out to the Stagsteads in the morning, just to give you some rest and recuperation. So with that in mind, starting from the bottom up, Zumbo, during the purple dragons are just kind of leaving you lot be, as is Magnus and Raedra. You notice that, as your rest is starting, you overhear arguments, shouting, coming from the smaller central tower in the middle of the fort. The telltale voices of Helenus and Agatha, echoing out of the tower. And when Helenus eventually emerges, you notice that she does not take the opportunity to kind of rest with you lot. Instead, she kind of goes off on her own. After a short while, Axakas gets up and goes to join her. But yeah, you 6 plus Drool are kind of left to your own devices. So Zumbo, is there anything you do during this long rest?
Yeah, I think Zumbo would just put Betty down wherever we're staying, if it's around a campfire or whatever. He put her down somewhere he can keep an eye on her. It's kind of watching her suspiciously out of the corner of his eye, and he gets out a very tattered, weather-beaten old journal, and starts kind of with a self-satisfied air, kind of writing about the day's events, particularly that he was, in his own mind, appointed Grand Admiral of the Rebel Fleet today. And so he's quite pleased with how the day's gone, really.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hiram, you're sat with Emily, who's, despite everything that's happened today, seems quite bored. But what are you two doing?
I will try to talk to her about what happened in the Druid cave.
Okay.
But very. When I said that, I feel like I owe you an apology. I'm really sorry for not being more there for you.
She shrugs and, well, I guess it's a good thing that I had both of our backs, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. Just, be patient with me. It will get better. I'm gonna figure it out. It's just, it might take some time.
She looks to you, and you feel your breathing start to quicken a bit, because as she looks at you, her face is illuminated by the crackling campfire nearby. And then you watch as she just pulls a nice awkward-looking smile, just like her top teeth are showing.
I'm gonna pat her on the head and say, "You're getting the kiddo."
Aww.
And like her face snaps back like a rubber band again.
Yeah.
Catcher.
I imagine with Catchers, when she's finally goes to bed, she starts thinking about what Azarad said earlier in the day, and sort of huffs the drawl that obviously he's wrong. He's wrong. It can't be anything. But as she starts closing her eyes, I imagine she starts hearing like a cacophony of voices around her from pretty much every other tent nearby, and so she ends up going to bed, covering her head like he's wrong, trying to drown out the noises.
As you try to focus on the thought that she's wrong, he's wrong, you kind of like there's one voice that kind of it's just kind of boomeranging through your head, and like you look, it's you find yourself looking around, almost trying to find the source of the noise, and your eyes fall on a young recruit, and looking at him, you realize that like this kid, this boy, he's no older than you. Really kind of given away by the mist-sized helmet that just kind of sits on the floor in front of him. Like as you look at him, the voice in your head becomes clearer, and you hear him saying, I don't want to die. I just want to go home. I just want this to be over. You watch as he kind of, like, he just seems kind of lost in a world of his own, and then one of the other soldiers does some laddie Larry joke and kind of claps him on the back, and then he kind of looks up and like you see him smiling and you just kind of get the feeling that it's forced laughter, forced smiling, and the voice stops. Badger,
Yes.
what do you do?
What do I do?
What are you doing?
Badger's probably kind of sidling up to Zumbo and going, so, good call earlier, good leadership, we've got promise, feel like we've got the same ideas.
Aye, it's good to have a bosun who's on the same wavelength. Yeah, I like what's going on here, Badger. Very good.
You and me, Zumbo.
Yeah, we'll get them in shape. Don't you worry.
We got a lock on them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm technically the leader. You do realise, don't you? It's me.
That's the spirit, Badger. That's the spirit. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Love this. Okay. Yes, we've got this. Right. Good talk. And she walks off.
Amazing.
Slate. What's Slate doing?
Was it Badger or was it Hiram that took the sickle, like wrapped in the bag? I think it was Badger, wasn't it?
It was Hiram.
Hiram. It was Hiram. I thought Hiram had the problem and then didn't take it after that. Never mind. Well, anyway,
it's back in your bag.
I thought it was back in your bag. Yeah,
it is back in your bag. You wrapped it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. Well, then I'll go to my own bag, and whilst everyone's not looking, I guess this is kind of like a sort of intimate moment. Rowan's gained her confidence back, I guess, from seeing Magnus and seeing that, even after not seeing someone, that they can be okay Things don't necessarily need to be a bad thing. It's kind of got the confidence back to just double check, and it's going back and going, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. So opens up the wrapping.
Yeah.
And looks at the sickle. And then tentatively, very tentatively, reaches out to touch it.
So as you go to reach for it, the clouds overhead part, and a beam of natural moonlight just kind of falls across the surface of the sickle. And like in that moment, you know the imperfections and the corrosion of the blade really starts to flash up into stark contrast. And you know the moonlight glitters softly on the metal. It just almost seems to be absorbed by the rust on the blade. And as you wrap your fingers around the handle, you feel there's this feeling like someone's just kind of grabbed your stomach and is pulling up. It's like a tightness in your diaphragm. So it kind of pulls up into your chest. It almost feels like a feeling of like growing anger, like that knot that grows. And as you look down, and like you feel like you have to blink a lot, just, you know. And as you look down at the sickle through your blinking eyes, it looks almost as if the rust is liquefying and turning into like this red, viscous, almost blood-like liquid that just seems to stain the blade. And as you know, this fuzziness in your head just keeps on growing, and you blink more to try and get rid of it, and you just start getting flashes in your mind's eye of a black furred, black feathered, black scaled creature splattered with red. It looks like blood, and piercing, predatory yellow eyes staring at you. Just flashes over and over, and your head jolts every time another flash of this thing looking at you fills your mind.
I think at that moment, I definitely let go of the sickle.
Okay. And as you let go of the sickle, your mind begins to kind of calm, and you feel that knot begin to unbind in your gut. There are two thoughts that kind of absently drift through your mind. That thing has to die. And also a sense of familiarity. But yeah, as you kind of let go of the sickle and it falls back into the bottom of your bag, your head clears, and yeah, you overhear everyone kind of talking and laughing around the campfire.
Yeah, I think Rowan would go and join everyone at the campfire because they would need the distraction. I think by the time that they reach the campfire, they would be more adult looking, so that drinking a lot of whatever wine or ale is about wouldn't seem as dubious as it would if a 12-year-old was to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, last but not least, Balthazar. What are you doing?
Balthazar will sit around the campfire for a while, and when everyone retires, as he does not sleep, he will go on one of the walls if he can.
Okay.
And will stare out at the moon and the night sky and make a little prayer.
Okay.
He'll go, I don't know if you can hear me, but I think you're out there, maybe looking out for me and giving me powers. So just know I'm thinking of you, and maybe one day we'll meet and get to talk to each other. And then he'll just stay awake the whole night on the wall, staring out at the sky.
So, Balthazar, as you stand on the walls looking out, so before you go up onto the walls, like before everyone's asleep, there is a dragon that comes over and says to you lot, we've in case you want it, we've got some spare bath water if you want to give yourselves a little scrub down. It's not the most private of facilities, but at least you can get rid of some of that adventurer musk that you've got about you. And the purple dragon just kind of looks down to you, Zumbo. Perhaps some of you need it more than others.
Ooh.
So rude.
Burn.
And the
question.
Yes.
Can Balthazar smell, or probably not?
I don't think you can. No.
All right. I'm happy with that. It's fine.
I guess you'd almost have like a memory of smelling.
I'll get like a memory of something.
But like you might look at like an apple pie, and then in your brain, in your head, you'll have a memory of the smell of an apple pie, perhaps.
Okay. But, that's fair.
But so this purple dragon just kind of stands awkwardly behind you, Zumbo, as if saying, bathtub's this way.
Oh, wow.
Zumbo would be like, looking around at the others for kind of confirmation. Like, what's he on about?
Yeah, Badger's going.
Yep. Rowan's definitely going.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
No.
So everyone else, apart from Balthazar, everyone else seems to be going Zumbo.
Balthazar gets a car wash. Just
Yeah.
spray down.
Power washer.
Rolling buffers go across you.
Oh, that's so lovely.
There you go.
So Zumbo, as you notice everyone kind of getting up and heading towards, it's basically in the training area just to the north of you, and
One bathtub.
There's basically like a wide barrel that's filled with water, and you can all just kind of have a little scrub down. So as you all kind of you watch Zumbo as everyone kind of goes in turn. You find who's the last to go?
Please say it's Zumbo. If he is that dirty.
You should start by the cleanest, really. But...
Zumbo would definitely be hanging back, looking very, very reluctant.
Okay, in which case, so everyone's kind of gone off for a bath. Hiram, it's your turn next, and then it's Hiram, it's you and Zumbo left.
Yeah.
And
I think partially because it takes me a while to talk Emily into taking a bath.
Sure. But as Hiram, as you kind of start to make your way towards the bathtub, you notice Zumbo's. Well, what's Zumbo doing?
Is it the kind of tub you get in, or do you just kind of splash yourself and?
I mean, for the others, maybe a splash jobby, but for you, certainly, it's like a bathtub. Yeah.
No, Badger was in there.
Yeah. Badger
was doing lengths.
This is for halflings and gnomes. This is a proper sitting bath. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think Hiram would have noticed that Zumbo has gone white as a sheet, and it's probably the only time he's looked. He's shown something like fear.
Zumbo, you okay there, buddy?
Yeah. Of course I'm okay. Yeah, just psyching myself up. It's been a while.
You took a bath?
Yeah. I mean, not much call for it in my line of work, and I haven't got time for baths. I'm far too busy.
Also, I suppose if you fall into the water a lot from the boat, then you're kind of clean.
Yeah. You're right, Hiram. I needn't bother. You go ahead. I'll No,
come on. I don't want to make it too dirty for you.
that
And he
really,
starts ushering you towards the tub.
he's like digging his heels in, like, no.
Okay, at this point, Hiram is like, oh, this is exactly like it is with Emily. Boy, do you know how to swim?
What kind of bleeding stupid question is that? I'm a pirate, Hiram.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Do you?
course I can swim. Yes. Yeah. Swimming's not a problem. It's just.
So what is the problem?
Well, you can't trust water, can you? It has stuff lurking in it sometimes. Trust me on this. I've fallen in before and it's not ended well.
Do you want me to get a little bowl so you can have so I can just pour the water over you instead? Would that help?
I think I'm okay. This is just something I, need to do by myself. If that's all right.
Okay.
So Hiram, as you kind of sit there trying to press the matter, you hear a scream from behind you, and as you turn around, like Emily's in the tub at the moment, right? And you watch as Drool just jumps into the bathtub and is just splashing around, just soaking everything within a 5-foot radius of the tub. As Emily's like trying to wrestle with this mastiff that's just going hog wild in the bathtub, the whole tub just tips over, and all the bathwater just spills out onto the training courtyard floor. Like Emily comes tumbling out. As does Drool, who then gets up, looks really pleased with himself, and just shakes himself off and just goes running off into the camp.
Catches to us like, he was a good boy, he's a good boy.
Right, so no bath for us, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, that's a real shame that. Well, next time, mate.
Tell you what, next when we go back to the inn, you can have a nice proper bath.
Yeah.
I heard they're even bigger there.
That sounds great. Thanks, Hiram. You're a gem.
Okay, so after Bathgate, you all make your way to sleep. Balthazar, you take your sentry duty up on the walls. Balthazar, as you kind of look out into the night sky, as you look across the forest, you notice that there's an almost soft glow nearby. And as you turn to look to your right, a bit further down the ramparts, on the ramparts just above the tent where Badger's sleeping, you see this translucent, slightly glowing, looks like an elf, is wearing, kind of robes very similar but yet alien to Badger's. This long ponytail hanging down his back. You recognize him as that thing that was talking to Badger and Katia on the trip here.
Balthazar will whisper, "Wait, are you my deity? Is it you?" Was trying to whisper from a distance.
The spirit is looking up into the night sky. His head seems to be, he's slowly scanning the stars above. And as you whisper out to him, he
Is it you?
turns to face you. You see an eyebrow raise, and then the figure looks back to the stars, and then vanishes.
Maybe it was.
Rude.
And as you kind of stand on the walls and kind of go into an almost like an inactive state, you don't realize, what you don't notice as it's kind of down in your tent is that your staff, the gem that crests the top, begins glowing slightly.
Ooh.
Where it wasn't before.
Great.
So
Cool.
With that, morning comes. You're woken. Those of you who are slightly later risers, you're woken by the sounds of the Ranger and soldiers kind of getting ready and prepare for another day. As you prepare yourselves, any of you who kind of look over notice that like you spot Raedra stood at the entrance to the main tower that you spoke in yesterday, in her full kind of battle regalia, like in her armor, and you see her, with her sword drawn, one eye closed as she looks down the blade to check for imperfections and whatnot, any chips, and you see her just kind of idly running a whetstone along the blade to kind of sharpen it and then checking it again. And then she looks down to you, the Warhounds, and kind of gives you a nod as you make your preparations to head to the Stagsteads. In terms of the Stagsteads, are you heading? Like, how are you getting there? So you're currently all at Fort Lymera, which is around about here. And yeah, you need to get to Stagstead. So you could just cross country.
It's a road. It's just a road, isn't there?
Yeah, you could cross country it 15 miles, or you could go down to the Starwater Road and then along, which is a little bit further, but there's less chance of trouble.
So what's our plan here, folks? Are we kind of bluffing our way in as the Warhounds, and then once we're in, sneaking off and trying to find this info, or are we just going to go full sneaky stealth mission from the start?
We were. Oh, sorry. This is an out of character.
Yeah.
We were supposed to bring Hellenis there, right?
Oh, I like what you're doing there. Yeah.
Like we've returned this prisoner to you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer to that actually is yes and no. It didn't make. I'm not sure what exactly Katya planted in the guy's head.
That will now have ended.
But he's not going to be annoyed, is he?
My point being,
No,
even if you do pretend to bring Hellenis back, they are not going to be particularly happy to see us, to be honest, because it was we were a bit suspicious by the end of that.
Well, suggestion doesn't leave any ill taste. It is, as far as the person's concerned.
Yeah, but that was one person, and the rest of them were really unsettled by his sudden change of heart.
But the suggestion was to take.
Was to leave Hellenis in our custody, and then to
So we could get the job finished, basically.
Yeah.
Could we sort of rock up and say we want to serve the king? Have you got any jobs? And that will give us the excuse to get in and talk to people, and then the stealthy people could sort of try and sneak off.
we'll be watched. I quite like the bringing a prisoner in idea.
I'm assuming Elle's plan was to transform into fish, and
yeah, I mean, that's as far as my plan has got so far, though.
Yeah.
And we can have two invisibles, right?
Two invisibles who can then sneak off. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's rather good.
Yeah, I mean.
So just to clarify,
So who's good at lying?
I mean, the one thing is.
Yes, and Katya's very good as well.
Some Katya.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of the things as well is if there's an Alaphon, there's no way they will notice.
Yeah, we need to have a plan to deal with the Alaphon, because that's going to break the whole. That's going to rumble us, isn't it?
Just avoid them. There should be no reason we meet the Alaphon.
Depends.
Yeah, but they would take Hellenis straight to Alaphon.
Yeah.
That was their whole plan.
Oh no, Hellenis transforms into a bird and runs away.
I still think if the visible members of the crew go in saying without the Hellenists stand in saying, we're here to serve the king or something, and then we can still have invisible people join us and go off and do their thing, but we're not attracting the attention of the Alaphon necessarily.
What if instead of saying like we're looking for a job, we say we bring information on something?
What kind of information? I mean, they'll definitely have the Alaphon double check that information if we say we've got information.
So we can go for half truths with the Alaphon, because we could say that we are bringing information about Agatha Fisher, and that's why we needed Hellenis, not to go with them.
So, you'll have the chance to speak to Magnus about this, for example, given that he implicitly knows about the Alphons, being a war wizard and all. So yeah, the Alphons' whole shtick is that they can read thoughts. Primarily, they read thoughts, right? They can. They're effectively like war wizard inquisitors, where they are like the internal police force. So their tools are very good at shutting down other war wizards. If surface level thought reading isn't enough, they have the ability to psychically delve into your mind, like Inception style, but significantly more painful and violently.
God.
And then, once they're in your mind, then they can just start reading you like a book.
That's not good.
And that is especially after the there have been uprisings from war wizards in the past, and the Alphons have been crucial in kind of sniffing out traitors to the crown and so on and so forth.
So, would a planted memory work against them?
Quite possibly, yes.
So let's say Katya uses modify memory.
I don't have it yet.
Level up, man.
Dan, give us a level. Just give us a level now, and I can take modify
Chuck us a
memory.
level, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just grind some monsters in the forest before you get here, that'll work.
We'll do a wild South Park montage, and we'll be good.
Yeah. Okay. So unfortunately,
I think on hearing that from Magnus, Slate having suggested first, like, oh, maybe we could do this. Go like, no, I think there could be. Maybe we could do other things that were like, maybe less dangerous. I am completely wrong. There's
Magnus
no point in
is-
being Hellenist. That's a stupid idea.
Yeah, Magnus's advice is to just try and avoid the Alaphon.
Yeah, maybe if we keep the subject on something they won't be interested in, like the dragon or something. If we go in and offer to, we've got information on where the dragon is. We need your help. Just keep talking about that. Something that the Alaphon's not going to care about, and then the invisible members, it's buying them time, I suppose, to
Definitely
go and do their thing. Because the minute the Alaphon gets involved, we're going to be fighting, aren't we?
Well, we're
So
going to
who's
be
going-
running for it, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going on the stealth mission? I guess probably Slate, Badger, and Zumbo.
Well, it depends on whether, because it doesn't need to be. Zumbo can give you Betty, and Betty can cast invisibility, so it doesn't need to be Zumbo that goes.
We've got the outfits, the purple dragon outfits. Was that
Yeah, but
be
3 is
helpful,
better
right?
than 2, so it's better if 3 people go.
But we can only make 2 of them invisible via
Yeah,
Betty.
but Slate can transform into something innocuous.
Oh yeah, good point.
Isn't Slate becoming? Is Slate not becoming Hellenist now? Sorry.
No.
That sounds
Oh.
dangerous and scary.
Yeah,
I just made
which
a
also
token.
brings me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Can we
Sorry.
see? Can we see the token?
Well, no, because you're not going to turn into Hellenist.
Oh,
Sorry, Tilda, go on.
Just a question is, what do we say when they ask about Hellenus? Because that is, like, I'm 80% sure it's going to come up in the conversation.
She died. Oh, very sad.
Died.
Very sad. Dead.
Dude,
Like,
Ugh. You know
literally
what?
An hour after.
You wouldn't
after
believe
you
it.
didn't care.
Wouldn't
yeah,
believe
dragon
it.
just swooped down and ate her.
Stone cold dead.
Or just go like, oh, ate the wrong mushroom. It's something that people don't think about very often. You've got to be careful with your mushrooms. I
It's
told her.
wonderful. Meredith
I
came
told
up
her.
to us, offered us a load of mushrooms, and she chose poorly.
We
But
could
yeah,
just say she's gone. We don't know where she went.
Yeah.
Regular
I guess we've
old
got to keep
cholera.
keep it to like technically true things, so that if the Alaphon does come along.
Okay.
happy days. Shall we proceed
So-
to the camp?
Yeah. So Magnus's advice for the Alaphon is try and avoid the Alaphon if you can. They are wizards designed to hunt wizards. But like in terms of the reading of thoughts, it's much harder for an Alaphon to hone in on who's thinking what if there's a lot of people nearby. But the moment an Alethon can single someone out, then they'll know the thoughts that they are reading are this person's.
Okay. What information do we have about what we're looking for? We know it's a source of information about the object, but do we know anything else about what we're looking for?
Not a lot.
So yeah, Rager tells you that there were a number of scouts that, as you know, were pretending to be loyalists. They sent a report out to say that the loyalists had discovered the information, but the scout, those scouts haven't returned. So they suspect that perhaps they were rumbled,
Right.
caught somehow.
Where is this place we're going to?
The Stagsteads. So,
Oh,
yeah.
there. Oh, it's right there. Oh, it's close.
It's very close. So, just everyone, I want you all to clarify amongst yourselves what the current plan is.
So
you don't all run off in different directions when you get there.
it sounds like at least the majority of the party or at least half, are going in on some pretense about the dragon. We've got further information on the dragon. We've come to help you hunt it down once and for all. Meanwhile, the others slip in invisible and search for this info, and then I guess we just get out as soon as we can.
Okay.
As a group.
Okay, so who's going invisibly? So is that Slate? Yeah. Oh no, no.
No, I'm not. I'm going normal. Sorry, I put my hand up and I was like, no.
Okay.
I'm just being invisible by being the most average-looking dragon there ever was.
So you're going as a purple dragon.
You know, like if you were doing like an identifit at a police station, you were like, oh yeah, they had a nose. It was like a nose kind of shaped nose, and then they had eyes. Probably like they were like either brown or grey or blue, or maybe green. And they had eyebrows, like that kind of thing.
You've seen those photos that are the average of 150 people's photos, and then you just get the most average Joe face possible.
Here's the thing: if you gradually change over several minutes the face, it will be unrecognizable because you'll just be constantly changing. So it'll be like, nope, contradictory.
That's very true. I like that.
I'm taking that, mate. I love it. Brilliant.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, just the nose is slightly longer and shorter, and the eyes change colors.
Okay, so who's invisible?
Okay. Badger,
I guess.
What?
Zumbo.
Me, yeah. It makes sense for Katya to be in the
delegation
talking party, doesn't it?
For
Because
sure,
she's the best talker.
I think, if Zumbo and Badger go invisible, does anyone else want to go invisible?
No.
Okay, fine. No problems.
Do not want a 7-foot giant robot to be invisible.
Clanking around invisibly. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh gosh.
Ding clonk clonk.
Okie dokie. So, sorry, if I just click that, and I click that, and I click that, and I click that, and I close that, and I click that, and that didn't work. Okay, fine. Cool. Right, so in which case, Badger's going invisible. Everyone else just kind of going in.
Zumbo's invisible.
Zumbo and Badger.
Sorry, Zumbo's invisible. Hiram, are you bringing Emily? Or are you leaving her at Fort Lymera? Ooh. Oh, he's asked now, hasn't he?
Yeah, just
Could
bring her along.
Emily be invisible?
No.
What was that, Tilda?
Oh, I think your mic's off.
Mic's not very.
Is it working?
I forgot. I know I muted myself. I don't know, because I don't trust these people.
What, the people at Fort Lymera?
Uh-huh.
Ah, okay. Tricky.
Magnus will let her wash some boots, I'm sure. Do some dishes.
You know what? Yes,
Polish his
Magnus
armor.
can babysit.
Perhaps they're going to come back and she's going to overthrow Raedra.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm banking on here.
So yeah, Hiram, there's a part of you that remembers Magnus going, wait, what? What? No. And as you just
Hey, remember Hey, remember how you said that you were gonna have my back?
And he, and again his moustache bristles at you. And yeah, you remember Emily just looking up at Magnus and saying, "This will be fun." Cool. Okay, so Emily not with the party. So we have Badgeron, Zumbo, Invisible, Hiram, Balthazar, Katya, Drool, Slate is disguised as a purple dragon. Cool. Are you all ready?
As will ever be, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you make your way along the Starwater Road towards the Stagsteads. The closer you get, you notice that there are more kind of patrolling purple dragons. The closer to the Stagsteads you get. As you turn south at the T junction towards the hunting lodge proper, it seems like you're just walking deeper into the forest. And strangely, it's almost like you've stumbled across it by the time you see it. But ahead of you, you see this luxurious hunting lodge that's been dug into the hillsides. The top of the sides and tops of it are planted over with mosses, and it's bulwarked with saplings that have what were once saplings but are now grown into these large kind of respectable sized trees that almost go some way to kind of it's a Cormyrian's version of trying to build a house within nature. And for the Cormyrians among you, I mean, it's a feat of engineering and cultivation. Badger, for you, I mean, it's just it's a bit slapdash, really. So yeah, it seems the way that the trees are grown, it seems like it's this lodge has grown out of the forest. Badger, you kind of associate it almost like a turtle, half hidden in a puddle.
Sure.
So, yeah, so it almost just kind of emerges out in front of you as you approach. And sure enough, you find yourselves at the front gates. Like there's a fence kind of running, like a log fence running around in front of you. If we make you two invisible and invisible. Okay, so yeah, Zumbo and Badger, do you have to be close to one another to be bettied, or does Betty just slap you and then off you go?
She basically just like touches a tentacle to each of us, and she changes colour, and then we change colour, and then I guess we'll probably be sticking close together anyway. But she's riding on my shoulder with a kind of tentacle on Badger's.
Oh,
okay, so we can't split up.
We can, but she's just keeping you close for now.
Aww.
Her tentacle's just.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Sorry, Dan.
Betty, so
sorry.
I haven't got any vision at the moment. I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Do you not?
No.
Is anyone else visionless?
I can see.
Well,
Thanks,
sucks to be you, Matt. That's
yeah.
Okay, so just for. Sorry, go on. Yes, Rita?
I was just going to say, just a quick thought. Is it worth Katya wearing her wig? Just because if the Lionar has been questioned since he disregarded the king's orders, he will probably mention the red-haired girl. So I just feel maybe, or at least the others in the party may have mentioned the red-haired girl. So I think maybe wearing your wig might be a good idea.
Sure. Yeah, Catch will go through a disguise kit and put her wig on.
Okay.
Okay. In which case, so Katja, you are bequeathed with your wig. So just for reference, we have Slate here in a purple dragon.
Good.
Purple Dragon guys. Right, so ahead of you, you see two young recruits kind of stood flanking either side of the entrance to the Stagsteads, and upon they've watched you approach. You can see a third and fourth Purple Dragon at the doors up ahead, and one of the recruits steps forward and shouts out, "Stop! What is your business?"
Nothing for me.
Or just all of you. You see her eyes kind of looking at the Purple Dragon that's with you primarily, but she's also kind of looking at all of you as she kind of steps out in front of you.
Yeah. Balthazar won't speak, so it'll be up to somebody else.
That's understandable.
Just gonna say, is it just we were going for the dragon?
Yeah.
So
So we are reporting back from a mission.
And she kind of looks at you and a mission for who?
Sorry, out of character. What was the name of the guy we talked to before?
just trying to think of that as well.
Lionel, something Tarkon or something like that.
Oh,
History check.
7.
Yay.
Oh no!
no.
Oh no! Come
Oh,
on, somebody!
no.
Mine
Somebody!
didn't roll. Press the
Katya!
button, but mine
Oh, thank
Hey,
God!
Okay, Katya.
Well done, Hiram.
There you go. Katya rolled a 12.
Does Ron not get to roll?
No. So Hiram, you yeah, Hiram, you're stood at the front when this young Purple Dragon says, "On whose orders?" You sense everyone going, "Oh no, what was his name?" But you confidently kind of puff your chest out and declare loudly, "Lionel Caven Tor."
Caven Tor.
That's the one.
I knew it sounded like a bit like a cave troll.
And the recruit is weird. She's almost like not expecting you to say the right thing, because she just kind of and like she looks to her colleague who just he's very definitely looking forward. He's not looking at the group of big scary people, and she of course the Lionar is inside. Tell Saw, she's trying to guess your rank from your armor. She's looking at you, Slayton. You're dressed up as a blade, but she's looking at Hiram with his plate armor and his big cloak, and she's like, yeah, Tell Saw. And then she just kind of ducks out the way before she finishes, and just kind of goes a bit quiet.
As I go past, I'll just tap her on the armor and just go, "We'll put in a good word."
And her eyes, which have become big and glassy, just yeah, and she beams happily as you say that. As you begin heading up the path towards the Stagsteads, Zumbo and Badger kind of loitering behind. The two Purple Dragons at the front door kind of nod at you. From where you're stood, you can see through these kind of floor to ceiling sized windows at the front of the hunting lodge. And yeah, you can see inside that to your left there's some Purple Dragons sat around a table eating something, because it's coming up to lunchtime. To your left, Balthazar, you're tall enough that you can see through this kind of this slightly higher up window ledge with some potted plants arrayed on them, and through the window you can see the telltale purple robes of a war wizard who appears to be idly rifling through a book.
Oh no.
But Balthazar, You get advantage on this history check.
Crit.
Yeah.
23.
Judging by this war wizard's regalia, she appears to be a relatively low-ranking wizard.
Okay.
Whew.
So, the two purple dragons at the door, like having seen you approach, they kind of nod. One of them opens the door for you, and the other says, "Welcome to the Stagsteads, my lord." He says, "Sir, my lord, sir." And opening it, on the other side of the door, the main kind of the entrance foyer, if you will, you see another two purple dragon blades standing guard, and you realise that yes, when Raedra said this place would be fortified and garrisoned, she does not seem to have been telling porkies.
Just to note, DM Dan, Balthazar would probably have scrounged up like a cloak.
Okay.
Or similar, or a burlap sack, just to cover himself a bit and make him look a little bit less Cormyr purple dragon colorish.
You just look like a massive Goliath.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're all able to kind of slowly filter in. Where is obvious? This like, so yeah, as you make your way into, as you make your way into the foyer, the blades kind of hold a hand up, and one of them says to you here, "Sir, who am I? What shall I address you as? Well, what shall I announce you as?"
Oh, we didn't talk about this today.
You're just yourself.
Yeah, might as well. Hear him serve a sword.
And
talk to him.
And the two purple drag, like the blades, look at each other and my apologies, my lord. I didn't. I should have recognized you.
Really?
We're honored. We're honored to have such a valiant hero of the country here. But you're the tales of and they look around. You must be the Warhounds.
Some of us, some of our teammates have other things to look after at the moment. Yeah.
And they like the blade. By time Mora's breath. Warhounds. This is. Oh, okay. Right. Please, follow me. Yes. Come on. This way. And yeah, the purple dragon. Like one purple dragon kind of leads you into the main hall. The other one just kind of just stands and watches you as you kind of make your way in. So as you make your way kind of into the large hall. You can see, the hall itself. The floors are wood. They're kept to a high the flooring is clearly kept to a high standard, but you notice that there's a lot of kind of scuffing on the floor, clearly where all these armored boots have been traipsing across it for a significant period of time. There are suits of armor, older versions of purple dragon armor kind of racked up to the sides. You can see a number of purple dragons stood in kind of doorways. Catcher, from where you're stood, you can make out that there's a staircase behind this purple dragon here, just off to your left. Upsettingly, a lot of the other doors around you appear to be closed. But you have a suspicion, given on what you were seeing through windows, what might be on the other sides of doors if you were to start going exploring. But if nothing else, you realise that this place is a bit labyrinthine, if anything. The three purple dragons, three blades that were in the room as you arrived, they kind of look over you in curiosity as because this the hallway purple dragon is all excited and it's and as he kind of runs over to the door, you hear him whisper to the other, "It's the bloody Warhounds, isn't it? It's the bloody Warhounds. The Lionel's gonna love this." And you see him poke his head in and shout out, "What?" Poke his head in and, "Excuse me, sir, it's a Lionar. Do you know where the Lionar is?" And you hear some voices in the distance. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir." And the door closes as he turns back to you. He's playing chess with a war wizard. That's never going to end well, he says. Right. The Lionel's just upstairs in the study. Excuse me, he says, as kind of makes his way past up to the stairwell. This way, he says. Yes, hello.
Out of recording, I've been developing a stonking headache throughout this entire game, and it's got to a point now I'm not sure I can go on. How much?
5 minutes.
Cool. I will bear.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Yes. Flapjack. So, the dragon. "Oh, please, this way," he says, and he begins making his way up the staircase. And he beckons you follow.
As a purple dragon, I would wait till everyone else has gone up.
Okay.
To follow up on the back.
I think at some point, with us moving into the thing, Zombo would have leaned forward and just whispered, "Yeah, we don't have long to do this."
So, as you'll head up. So what the Invisibles? Are you following up the stairs or are you breaking off?
It's a good point. What's the strategy?
Well, it sounded like there was someone important in that room.
I'm guessing it's the elephant.
Yeah.
I'm not very keen to go in there. I bet they can see through invisibility as well somehow.
Yeah, maybe you stay. I mean, study sounds quite good, right? For intel.
Yeah. There was also that junior war wizard down in the sort of bottom right corner, who might have been tasked with looking into where the object is or something. I don't know.
Yeah, she was reading a book, I suppose.
Yeah, she might have some notes on it or something, but it depends on whether we can get down to there without arousing suspicion. Can we open a door without people going, "Who's there?"
The thing I was thinking is we've got minor illusion, so we can make the sound of wind and then kick the door open.
Love that. That's great. Yeah,
Okay.
just sort of go.
Yeah.
It does break stealth though.
It wouldn't, because it's not a minor illusion would, you're right. No.
Oh, would it?
Yeah.
Well, I've got minor illusion.
It
Okay.
would still break invisibility.
Yeah.
Would it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, maybe not.
Never mind now.
Okay, we'll tell you what. Whilst you two are downstairs in the foyer wondering where or what to do, upstairs in the traffic jam.
Yeah, the characters are just going back and forth, they're kind of getting lost in the map.
Now I'll pull you all through. Whoop, there you go. Right, so you find yourself on a landing. There's a number more kind of purple dragons loitering about. The awestruck dragon leads you up and just sort of like you see him going, "Hey, check a look, get a look at these guys," and directs you to a door just to the right of the two guards. And yeah, there's no door through, but you can see an office off to the side. And yeah, the purple dragon leads you through and kind of directs you in. As he kind of ushers you in, and you enter into the office, you see that there's a bit of a discussion going on. And as you enter, the first person you see is Caven Tor sat behind the desk, and yeah, he's having some sort of discussion with this Telsword. And Caven stops and looks up to you and, this is a surprise, he says, and he furrows his brow. And Caven, Katya, you notice that Caven is looking at you very directly. And Caven tilts his head, and because he swears there's something different about you compared to yesterday. And Katja, as you look at Caven like wearing this wig, and you're very acutely aware that you're now wearing a black wig.
Shit.
You hear a squeak from the chair in the corner. And as you turn to look, you see a rough-looking, tattooed brute of a man sat in the chair. A plush chair. Probably looks like the plushest chair this man's ever sat in. And he leans back, and the leather squeaks louder as he does. And were you expecting friends, Mr. Tor? He says. And as he stands up, you recognize him as one of the boys.
No.
And we will call it there.
Damn!
Oh no.
And the boys
no.
are part of Katya's
Ursula's
gang.
Private gang.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. That's not good.
So much more stealth, guys.
Yeah, Badger, I think we're about to get to 66% fight in stealth missions. That sample size is getting bigger.
Well, you know what? Technically, Katya doesn't look like Katya right now, so he might not realise immediately.
Yeah, and we could just go, to be honest.
You and me. Let's just go.
We're gonna see.
Well, on that heroic note, congratulations everyone on completing session 8.
Sweet. Did not fight the queen. That's pretty good.
Yes, we will see what happens in the heart of the Stagsteads, in the heart of the Loyalist garrison.
We burn it down.
I think Catch is going to burn it down is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a very high possibility now.
Wow.
Good lord.
Cool. Right, so yeah, thank you all for joining, thank you all for playing. I will see you all next week.
See you next week.
Next week.
Next
Thanks,
week.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
This deep in Loyalist territory, will the fame of the Warhounds, and specifically Katya's, prove to be a blessing or a curse? Have they chosen wisely in supporting Rager on this endeavour? Is it too late to change their minds? Once again, thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, give us a like and leave a comment down below. We release new sessions every Sunday and new shorts on Wednesdays. We're now busy at work on our new project, so keep an eye out for any news about that in the future. If you're hankering for more Warhoundsy goodness, you can find another video here. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit the subscribe button over there. We really appreciate any and all support, and we thank you for making it this far into the video. With that said, stay safe, and may the realms endure.